Welcome to the Sarah Scoop Show. It's time to get the scoop with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Erin Krakow. I'm an actor and I've been working with Hallmark Channel for the past 8 years, I think. I play Elizabeth Thornton on One Calls the Heart, and we've just begun our 8th season there. And I'm really excited to share my new movie, It Was Always You, which is coming up on Hallmark Channel this Saturday, the 27th at 9/8 Central. That's a great question. I have been I have been sticking my nose where it doesn't belong for years when it comes to One Calls the Heart. I have lots of opinions and suggestions and thoughts and concerns, um and I really just care so deeply about One Calls the Heart and wanting to make sure that we have real longevity and success with our show. And so I have been just throwing in my 2 cents from the very beginning. And luckily, it reached a point where they acknowledged that. But as far as input goes, we have had some incredible showrunners over the years. This season was no exception. Our new showrunner, John Tinker, has done an incredible job steering the ship, and he was really very open to collaborating. He was a wonderful partner, both in leading up to the season and talking about game plan, but also we were in close touch probably every day discussing story and various other things that go into making a television series. But it's been a real joy, a lot of work, but a lot of fun. I wouldn't say there were specific character traits of Elizabeth's that I brought to John to say, let's make these changes. I think I've been kind of living in Elizabeth's shoes for such a long time now that we didn't want to make any drastic changes. That said, the elephant in the room, the situation that she's in this love triangle is really, it's reaching a boiling point, right? She's got to make that decision. And I think oftentimes what can happen with people who are facing a scary decision, something that is stressful, makes them anxious, they can start to exhibit different sides of their personality when they're under this extreme pressure. And that's something that we actually do find in Elizabeth's character this season. And to be honest, like, it isn't always flattering. And that's sort of that's a hard thing for me to wrap my head around sometimes, because we all want to be liked. I mean, unless you are truly playing the antagonist of a story. I want the Hearties to love Elizabeth. I want them to support her on this journey. But I'm sure they will find along the way there are moments where it is hard to be truly supportive of Elizabeth because she's not acting right. She's maybe not treating her friends with the kind of respect that you'd like to see, or maybe she's behaving towards these men in a way that feels not unkind, but I know how protective the Hearties are of their team, and so maybe they'll have a hard time with that. Anyway, this is a very long answer to your very good question, but my point is just that I think it's more situational for Elizabeth, these changes in her character. Oh, this is so hard. Well, yes, I'll touch on first. 2 extra episodes this season is fantastic. Obviously, we were disappointed not to get to film a Christmas movie, a One Calls the Heart Christmas movie this year, but 2 extra episodes means it means a lot over the course of a season. So we're really going to get to explore things a lot deeper than maybe we would have before. That's 2 extra hours. As far as a favorite episode, I can say that we have a wedding this season in Hope Valley, and I love getting to film Hope Valley weddings. So that comes a bit later in the season, but I'm excited about that. And then obviously, can't have a Hope Valley wedding without a Hope Valley bachelor and bachelorette party, and those are always fun to film as well. So there's a lot of excitement around those events. That'll be, I think, enjoyable for our viewers. It was great working with Teryl. She's, as you say, she's obviously very talented. She came in to play Lucas's mother, Helen Bouchard, who is also Elizabeth's book editor. And I will say, she brings a lot of that spunk that you just mentioned to this character. She's intimidating. She is strong-willed. She is challenging to Elizabeth. But she is also going through something very challenging in her own life, which she is keeping hidden from her son. And so I think that's putting a lot of extra pressure on her. And she ends up confiding in Elizabeth, as many do. And unfortunately, she asks Elizabeth to keep the information from Lucas. And so that that makes a sort of tricky dynamic between the three of them, for sure. But it was great to get to play out those scenes with Teryl. She did a fantastic job, and always interesting to get to see the parents or the family members of a character that you know and love brought to life, because it reveals that much more about the character that you know. So in this case, Lucas. Oh, um, I am a big fan of Lee and Rosemary's love story. I have been from the beginning. It probably didn't hurt that Lee took Rosemary's attention away from Jack. So that made life a lot easier for Elizabeth. No, but in all seriousness, I just think their love story is so tender and supportive and funny and wholesome and real and romantic, and it's sort of, it has all of those things. And there's also just a comfort, is I think the word I'm looking for. There's a real comfort both between Pascal and Kevin as actors and friends, but also between their characters. And it's just heartwarming to watch. So I would say Lee and Rosemary are the romance that I'm really rooting for and in support of. I will say, even Lee and Rosemary have their ups and downs this season. They have a few moments where they butt heads, but yeah, they've got a great journey coming up this season. I'm really excited for everyone to see it. Well, I can remember my first hug like it was yesterday. um, yeah, I mean, I think my first hug back on set was with Pascal. Actually, it was featured in our season premiere when Lee and Rosemary ride in on the stagecoach back from their vacation. And I just remember we rehearse each scene before we film it, and I remember in the rehearsal just hugging Pascal, and I don't know if she wanted to let go, but I certainly didn't. I was just holding on so tight, like, I missed you. So that was really nice, just in terms of uh, filming memories sort of related to COVID. I would say that's up there. And then we all had, an interesting time trying to figure out where to stick our masks at the last minute. A lot of us girls wear knee-high socks under our skirts and petticoats, and so we would just like quickly take off our mask and shove it in our sock, and then film the scene, and then pull it back out and go on with our day. No stinky sock situations that I've heard of, so we're good. Sure, of course. I mean, I would love, that's actually something that I am very grateful for. When asked if I ever tire of playing the same character year after year, my answer is always no, because each season it seems like there's some new challenge or something new for me to get to play through Elizabeth. But as far as something specific next season, one of the things that I love about One Calls the Heart is that I get to do all of these fun scenes with our child actors, both the students in Mrs. Thornton's class, and then also the Taylor twins who play Little Jack. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we had to be extra careful with our little ones this past year. And so Heads up, you won't necessarily see as many schoolhouse scenes with the whole class. And there are fewer scenes with little Jack as well, which is truly unfortunate, because I think in many ways, the kids are the heart of the show. So I guess in a season 9, I look forward to hopefully being able to play out a lot more scenes with the children. And then on the other side of things, we've been exploring this love triangle for several seasons now, and we are finally getting a decision in season 8, which is great. But I think what that means is in season 9, it would be really lovely to get to explore what that dynamic is like between Elizabeth and fill in the blank, without the complication of the other man. So getting to, have real dates and see what that romance and courtship is like, and see what it's like to involve this man in family life with little Jack. I just think there's a lot of fun potential stories to play out there. Lots more to come if we get to season 9. So everyone just has to tune into season 8 so we have good numbers, and then hopefully we get a pickup. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was very involved. I was the one reading with them, and we had a big conversation, several conversations afterwards, to just kind of make sure that we were going with the right guys, and that was very, very important. Obviously, our Hearties were very passionate and supportive about the Jack and Elizabeth love story, and we built that lovingly over 5 seasons, and we knew that whoever we brought in, there was going to be a lot of pressure on those guys, and we wanted to make sure that we made the right choice. And I didn't get to spend too much time with Kevin and Chris before we cast them, but I think we could all just tell that not only were they doing a great job playing these roles, but they seemed like decent human beings. And I have just found over the few years that I've known both of them that they're far better than decent. They are wonderful men. They are kind and sensitive. They're great listeners. They really care about the show, which I think is important, and it's a key to One Calls the Heart's success. And it doesn't hurt that they have wonderful senses of humor as well. We're always laughing together. So I feel like we hit the jackpot with them, truly. I recall like it was yesterday. In fact, I think I was living in New York at the time when I saw the breakdown for the initial movie version of One Calls the Heart, and I read about the character, and I thought, like, there's just something about this one. I would really like to be a part of it, and for whatever reason, the stars didn't align, and I wasn't able to audition at the time. And then I don't remember exactly how long it was after that, but then I was living in LA. I saw the breakdown again for the series version, and I just felt like there's just something special about this. Something just really felt right, and they called me in. I read for it with the fantastic Penny Perry, who is our casting director extraordinaire at Hallmark Channel. And luckily, she saw something in me and made the connection in the way that I had already in my heart. But that was not the end of that. I mean, we proceeded to have, gosh, I think there may have been like three callbacks after that where I read with a few different guys, actually none of whom were Daniel at the time. And then I had a meeting with Hallmark Channel, and then I went in and did chemistry reads at the network level, and luckily it worked out. And man, what a journey it's been. Yeah, in many ways it does feel like quite a long time ago, but it also feels like just yesterday. And I just feel like this is a bit of a tangent, so just go with me here for a second. Actually, at that final chemistry read, when I was reading with Dan, he had to give me something in the scene that we were reading. I think it was a compass. And so he pulled out a keychain before the scene and he said he was going to hand me the keychain in the scene. And we both kind of freaked out because I realized in that moment that I had the exact, well, not exact, but I had the same keychain. It just had a different quote on it. So mine said, "Think happy, be happy." And his said, I might butcher this, but it was something along the lines of, "You are exactly where you are meant to be." And uh, and I think about both of those quotes often, but I think Dan's in particular of "You are exactly where you're meant to be" really resonates with me right now because um, I think When Calls the Heart has really offered me that. It just feels right. I've met some of my best friends on this show, and it feels like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be when I'm in Hope Valley. So very, very grateful. Gosh, I got super corny there, didn't I? But I mean it. Oh, not often and not in their entirety, but I do try to watch the fan made videos from time to time, and I'll look at the fan art and I'm blown away. There's so much talent in the Hearties fan base, but it is through the fan art and the videos that I get to revisit what things looked like back in season one. And you're right, it really was a very different show, certainly visually back then. Yeah. Yes, where to begin? Should I talk about the storyline or working with Tyler? I'll start with the storyline, actually. It seems I cannot escape a good love triangle, so here we are. Um, but this is perhaps my favorite Hallmark Channel movie. I loved the script the second I read it. It was written by Kathy Clovis. Um, I I think part of what drew me to the script is the fact that it's not just a love story between my character Elizabeth and Tyler's character David. It's also a love story for ourselves. We get to see Elizabeth. My character in this movie is also named Elizabeth. We get to see her go on um, a journey of self-discovery. So we start the movie and she is obsessed with her lists. She wants to live her life a certain way. She's engaged to a certain man. She's going to plan the wedding according to her list. She is then separated from her fiance because of this storm, and she ends up spending a lot of time with his brother, played by Tyler. And it's through this friendship with Tyler's character that Elizabeth realizes she's lost sight of who she really is and what actually makes her happy, and that maybe she should rip up the lists. Maybe she should just try to live in the moment and not miss out on a lot of the joy that's all around her. Um, so it's that journey to kind of remember what actually makes her happy that really excited me. And then Kathy just does such a good job of writing these characters' voices that it all felt very natural to me. As far as working with Tyler, I read the script and immediately thought, oh, Tyler Hynes would be great in this role. And so I'm thrilled that he took the role because he just brought it to life in such a fun, annoying, charming, adventurous kind of way. It's really pretty perfect. I don't know what else to say. Um, and we have such an ease working together. I have a lot of respect for him as an artist and as a human being, and it was just it was a great joy from start to end. I genuinely miss working on that movie. I wish that it was more of a series or something so that we could revisit these characters. But hopefully our viewers will love it so much that Hallmark Channel will give us a sequel. That would be really fun. Fingers crossed. There isn't really anything I can talk about right now. We've got, let's see, we just aired the premiere, but we've got 11 more weeks of When Calls the Heart coming up. So that's exciting. And obviously it was Always You this Saturday. And I don't know, I am learning from my characters. And so like Elizabeth of It Was Always You, uh, I want to kind of rip up the list a little bit and be present and in the moment. And, um, I'd like to see more of the world in the same way that she would actually. So hopefully our world will be back to some version of normal and we'll feel safe relatively soon so that I can do some more living in the moment. Oh no. See, here's the thing. I am notoriously at this point terrible at answering these questions. In fact, I believe Tyler asked me my favorite movie or my favorite performance on like day one of our shoot, and I don't know that I had an answer for him ever. I don't know. I suddenly feel like stuck because there's so many options, and if I choose one, well, I'm gonna make the other movie feel bad. So I'll just say right now, my favorite movie is It Was Always You, and I hope you all watch.
Thank you for watching The Sarah Scoop Show. Head to sarahscoop.com for more.